All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reality Guys. We're here to cover the Challenge USA Season 2. We had a couple technical difficulties with our first few recordings, but we have episode number 4, Double Crossed and Side Swiped. Let's kick it off here tonight, Kevin. I want to talk about the fact that we have our first defection, which was left on a cliffhanger. We have Mr. Johnny Bananas. He decides to defect from his red team, and he replaces Corey Wharton on the blue team. He's saying Red won't win shit. he's mocking Dusty's hilarious love letter to him about how much he loves him and idolizes Bananas. And do you think it was a smart move to kick off and send Corey to the opposite team and put a vet away from him? Or because I was originally thinking that he should get rid of someone like a Chris or Sebastian and replace them to have a vet strong team on blue.
Honestly, I did contemplate this the entire time. Well, not the entire time, but I did contemplate this when he first did it. And that is a really good question because in so many ways, I think it would be more beneficial for him to be sticking around, but to be sticking around and working with them. Like if he took out somebody else's on Corey's team and brought him over instead so that they could work together. But that also being said, Corey's an idiot when it comes to this type of stuff. So he wants to make big moves all the time. And what's the biggest move you can possibly make in this is Bananas. Next probably being Wes, then Fessy. You know what I mean? Just logical stuff on the male end. And I think that's probably what he was saving himself from. And then not only that, it's not like they have any real history. They've made it kind of clear, hey, we don't work together. That it's like, all right, fine, you go deal with this bullshit.
That was from episode 3.
It's been tough.
He was basically saying that I'm always on the bottom when I work with the vets, Wes, Bananas, whoever. Corey's on the bottom, and he knows that, so that's why he bounced away from that. And the one thing that some of our Snyder cut files, basically Fessy and Corey are both on blue. No one's saying Fessy's a vet, but the dude's a vet. Him and Josh and Paulie and whoever else, they're titled CBS people.
Oh, Fessy is
really
definitely.
They're definitely
vets. Fessy is definitely a vet.
So
I wouldn't necessarily, and I'm saying vet just on respect wise because he's shown out.
If you've been on
MTV, if Casey were on, I would say
more than once, more than twice, and you've won something, you're a vet at this point. It used to be that
right. But if it takes you 5 seasons, to win one easy elimination, I don't necessarily consider you a vet. You've been there for a while. I don't even consider Amanda a vet. I do just for longevity, but would you consider vet status being Anissa? You know what I mean? Yes. They're still not. I guess when I said that, I kind of take that back.
In this game, all 6 vets are vets, and I would consider Fessy, Paulie, Josh, they're all vets. They're from CBS shows, they're vets. I think that the people that are great.
I would not take Josh as a vet. Josh acts like he's a vet. Josh acts like he's right. That's what I was kind of getting at. Not necessarily statistically what they are.
The only gray area vets here are the ones that were on the challenge previously, but they were on the CBS challenge. So you got Tiffany, Alyssa Lopez, Desi, whoever else. So they've all been on the show before. However, they were not integrated with the MTV people. So that's why they're not aligned with them. But basically, if you've had the chance to intermingle with Johnny Bananas and Tori, the leaders of the squad, and Josh, then you're a vet. So I digress.
And Josh. Oh, okay.
I digress.
Stop calling Josh a leader. That's basically what it was pissing me off. Is he's not a leader. He does not have leadership potential. As a human being, he does not lead anything.
Anyways.
I'm not wrong, dude. That's what pisses me off about him. Is he talks loudly and gets mad and gets big, but nobody respects what he says. Nobody knows what he's doing up until literally this episode.
Josh, to put it simple, Josh is what you call, I don't know if he's a pawn necessarily. The rookies might be pawns, but Josh is what's the least valuable piece in chess that's not a pawn? Because that's what Josh is. He's the one that you don't need. You'll discard him at any point in time. You can always beat him. You don't need him to win, but he's useful in certain circumstances. Maybe he's a knight.
Dude, I don't know chess, but
Okay.
if it was checkers, he'd be on the red team.
Josh is that piece that you keep for a while, but at some point you discard it because it's literally useless. Like you might use it for one thing.
Literally, Josh is the piece that you don't move on your board because you don't know his move in chess. You don't know how he works, so you just try to avoid it. Like, all right, let's just go.
Josh
and
is
he's just bitching the whole time.
So most girls like dogs, right? But most people, like a lot of people, don't like yapping, annoying dogs, right? So if I have a yapping, annoying dog, it'll serve a purpose. It might draw me to a certain set of girls that like dogs, but at some point it's going to be a yappy, annoying dog, and therefore it's no longer useful.
Right. And to be fair, I'm not even going to go down that route, but yeah, there's other people in here that are very similar, and you do make a good point. It's like, oh, everybody loves dogs, but we just don't like this type of dog because they annoy the shit out of us and don't know what they're yelling about, and it makes no sense, but you just let it go because that's how they are. And that's Josh.
Right on. All right, so this daily challenge, I forgot what the name of it was, but they're basically strapped to two different freight carriers going back and forth, and they had to jump from thing to thing, and they had to score points on a board. I don't know how many.
From carrier to carrier, they had to take the dots off of their one and put it on the other opposite side. I'm not exactly sure how the scoring went, but I'm pretty sure it was just a constant like quick endurance like they do, where it's all right, boom, everybody back and forth, let's cancel each other out, that type of thing.
Well, you say that
that's a vibe, yeah.
But that's not what happened. So I mean, there's a little bit of strategy. So basically, like I was trying to watch this while cooking chicken in my kitchen, and like they were just bouncing back and forth. It's really hard to focus, so I had to watch it a second time later. And I mean, there was two levels. So you have like the upper level, the bottom level, and then they're in the middle, jumping off from the whatever thing they were attached to. I think, see, that's what I was wondering was I couldn't get a figure on where the dots were. It seems like they were like on a belt, but Amanda dropped them at some point, and I don't know how many they started with, but I thought the challenge looked fun. This is,
I think it was a Velcro strip.
It looks like I think it was
like a Velcro strip on the side of it, yeah. And then you were like, they had the ropes there to like hold on to, but
yeah, it was a circle
magnet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. There was like a circle disc and a magnet strip in the middle. So I paid attention to that. So it was definitely like a magnet because I saw Josh. He like did something where he missed and it fell off, but most of the time it was able to stick. So I mean, dude, I would.
Oh, Josh missed. That's crazy. Doesn't surprise me.
Shocker. But Amanda had a confessional where she missed, or she didn't miss. She like dropped. She dropped them. She got hit. She dropped them. I don't know. It was super high, fast paced. I thought I was watching Fast and the Furious 27, 20, 31, 11.
Yeah. Well, wait. Can I add on to this Amanda thing that I don't want to be overlooked from last episode is when Amanda had her confessional and she just chuckled to herself and goes, I don't sweat. She comes in here and thinks she's going to win this thing and do everything for her kid, but she just goes, I mean, I don't sweat. And it was like a swimming competition. Remember? She just announced right away, like, oh, I don't do this. And like, all right, fine, you can sit this one out.
Oh, she said
nothing bad's gonna.
She said she didn't get wet. That was the upside.
Oh, didn't get wet. Oh.
She was saying she didn't get wet.
Right. That makes sense.
Sorry, Fessel, but Amanda, she doesn't get wet. So, Kevin.
But go on. Sorry, I just wanted to, because I thought I laughed hysterically out loud, like thinking she said she doesn't sweat, this is equally as bad. But so anyway, Bananas decides to throw the competition by dropping all his circles. Therefore, it would, if you want to talk about the strategy behind that, because this kind of seemed weird.
But is that it was it was actually Chris Underwood's strategy from Survivor. They threw him. I had to rewatch that part because Bananas basically threw Chris under the bus, saying it was his plan instead of his own, which is true. I did see that in hindsight, but that what they're basically saying is that what blue team already had the least number of points, and it was now going to be blue versus red. So it was blue versus green. So they're like, let's just not score any points for blue, and we'll deject or get rid of every point from green so that red, our ally, has the best chance of winning, which makes sense because defense wins championships. Insert Big Brother clip here. All right. So
was that the smartest thing they do? I guess I don't know. I guess it was. Yeah, end of the day.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I agree. I think letting the red team win. I mean, to some extent, it was smart for most of blue. I wouldn't say it was the smartest thing for Chris because he had to go into elimination, but
yeah,
it was a decent.
Oh, yeah.
It backfired a little bit on that man, but it was okay because you could end up.
How much flack do you think that Corey wasn't, or was Corey fine? Like, when I'm more thinking, when is Corey going to start getting pissed at Johnny for sending him over?
Well, so yeah, with that, I was curious too. So at the very end of the episode, or not the end of the episode, but the end of the challenge, you see Corey and blue team. They go up and they basically pick up Bananas. Bananas is just like chilling on his podium by himself, or yeah, he's on the blue podium by himself, and all the red team goes over and they pick up Johnny Bananas, and Corey's basically the guy that picks him up. So I don't think he's that pissed. Which, like we were saying at the beginning of the episode, is that we think it was a really bad
What do you mean?
He should have replaced
What pony?
Chris instead of replace Chris instead of Corey. However, in this position, it's almost like Bananas is like, I'm just going to go to the winning team. I'm going to put Corey on the losing team, but I'll still protect Corey to some extent. Like, and you're working side to side. I'm not really sure. We'll see how it plays.
Yeah.
There's too many moving pieces. So I think one big thing for me is like, I guess we have.
It really is. It's tough. It's tough.
So we're going into the voting part right now, and this shit blew my mind, man. So I'm a big fan of Survivor and Big Brother, and I believe that they have better voting strategies and strategic play than the challenge. I think the challenge is all about, oh, hey, you and me, we both live in Miami and we party on yachts because we're part of MTV and they give us free money, and they all just align with each other every season. So I think CBS Survivor and Big Brother, they're being new seasons. It's always new strategy. And those people, I think, bring in a better gameplay than MTV people. So it was refreshing to see some of the things that were going on. And I thought this was the most strategic episode of the challenge itself I've seen in forever. And I know this is CBS and not MTV, but I'm a big fan of it, man. Like, some of the MTV recent seasons can suck my balls because this one's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm in for it. I don't know. My biggest issue, I would definitely agree that I like this season versus a lot of the other seasons, just because there are a lot of moving parts, and the moving parts like aren't something that I can like immediately pick up on like I have in previous. Like, I mean, Wes and Johnny have always been good of like, all right, let me think of an alternative strategy that I would never think of. And there's a lot of those. You can tell there's layers of it. So I'm curious to see how that goes. However, that's also an issue with watching it. Is like in the past I've been so like keen to what was going on, and like kind of being like in the past it was almost easy when it came to like, well, you know for a fact that like Zach is never gonna vote out what's her name, Ashley, is her name, his wife. You know, like you could kind of read the relationships. This one is like everything is double crossing and stuff, and nobody's in a relationship. They all basically have too just long of a relationship. There's not going to be any random hookup, minus apparently Tori and the mullet dude from Survivor, which of course Tori again, just marry someone and don't cheat on them. Like, just date, like just commit, dude. You're being ridiculous. It is every season, and they have them twice a year that you get involved like publicly with somebody. And if you're not involved with somebody, there's a rumor that you are, and that's because you are. So it just like Tori, you just breathe, girl. Like you got this. It just blows my mind that she falls for this shit every time, and it's going to affect her. It's at the end of the day, it's going to affect somebody too much. So go.
Hey, Tori, the
Sophie, go.
challenge season, whatever it is, number 50. Here I come.
Yeah.
All right, so here we are at the vote. So the red team, they end up winning because blue team threw it to them, and green team might be SOL at this point. So the Reds, they all decide that green basically is someone that they're gonna have to send in. They're gonna protect blue, or they're gonna protect blue because they protected them this round, which makes sense to me, building that alliance. And they decide to send in Lewis, and they send in Amanda. And then so I found it interesting because basically Dusty's on red team, and he could have saved his buddy Lewis by they had some strategic gameplay going back and forth where the Survivor Girls or whatever, they were saying, if you protect Desi, we'll protect Lewis. And then Dusty didn't take the bait, and he ends up basically screwing both of them at the same time. Because I think Wes was the one guy that he was trying to keep a vet out or keep whatever. It was very confusing gameplay to recite off of notes that I can't read right now because I'm dyslexic. So, Kevin, what do you think?
I mean, my big takeaway was it was just the fact that Wes did his normal politicking, and for something that he's so good at, to be honest, I have no idea. Like, I don't the the people that I know are that are just going to be eliminated. I've been very quick to like, all right, I don't really care about your opinions, like that type of thing, which is wrong. But Wes doing his typical very above average politicking, it was kind of probably one of the first times I've ever seen where literally nobody fell for it. Nobody bit on it. Everybody voted the way that they talked about voting. That was my big takeaway of this whole situation.
Yeah, so
And it was interesting to me because is this the end of the Wes era? Or has it been the end and he's still just confident?
speaking of that, this is the end. I believe this is the end of the Wes era. We might get him back at some point, but I think he's going to be MIA for a while because he's having a kid. So I think he at this point in time when we're recording this, I think he's a dad now. So he's probably going to be MIA for a while. But yeah, everybody was pretty
Which
much
is just going to piss me off. It's just going to piss me off because now this is exactly where Josh is like, man, me and Wes always I beat him in this one. I beat him. No, you didn't, dude. You didn't do a single thing. There still was no rivalry, and you would just act like, well, I was the captain, so well, you got luckily picked the captain.
the rivalry was just like Josh trying to beef with Wes to get clout, and Wes called that out back when they were on the episode.
Yeah, and it was the best. That was like one of the. I watched that clip recently, and it was like one of the best things. He's like, "No, Josh, you have a thing with me and you. You and I are not a thing."
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, Wes didn't want to get handicapped and be attached to Josh because Josh sucks. But that being said, so pre-recording, I'm gonna put in Josh, dude, you killed it. I'm gonna give a shout out to one of mine and I think Kevin's personal enemies that we hate on the show, Josh. So we hate Josh, man. I'll start off with saying that. But
I think everybody does. I don't know how you can like the guy, but okay. If you do, to each your own.
I would give props to Josh on this episode. I think he played a very good strategic game, and I would clap for some of the stuff he did later on in the confessionals.
Sure.
Okay.
No, I think he did well. I think it was good. Every time he talks, though, it just seems like he's crying, and like every time he's on the screen, I go, "How can any of these people stand him?" So like, I more just zone him out when he talks. if you want to go over, I guess what specifically he did, I don't know. It's up to you, but basically, I guess he
You can
just
go
stood
over.
his ground. He just stood his ground. He stood up. He knew that he recognized that the veterans were being targeted, and he stood his ground. Not which is something he normally wouldn't do, and I'll give him that, to not like fall for just some random suggestion from anybody, right? Like, or am I wrong?
I mean, I'm thinking specifically, this is like mid episode at this point. So it's middle
Right.
of the episode, Josh, Team Red wins, right? So Team Red, Josh, they win this episode. But that's because Blue gave it to them. I was just saying that I think obviously Josh, he's super annoying. I mean, I go back to the days when he was on Big Brother. I thought about bringing in pots and pans and making cleaning noises on the Zoom, but I thought it'd be annoying. But no, even when
Good call.
the red team had deliberation, right? He was mad annoying, but like as a viewer, I was like, okay, like he's being loud and boisterous, but I'll still give him props because at least he's being strategic in what he was saying and trying to
Right.
basically like,
What kind of pisses me off about him, and this goes back to what you were saying and what he was like being boisterous and stuff, is for whatever reason he still thinks that he is playing Big Brother, and he thinks that he can integrate the Big Brother style of play into this. And this has always been a weakness of his. Like he trusts people too much. He acts like what the strategy of how you would approach things on Big Brother will work effectively in the challenge. So like that's what pisses me off is that it's a completely different game, and it's always been a weakness of his, but he still is standing strong and being boisterous, being, oh, this is not how the challenge and how Big Brother is played. Like, bro,
well,
it's not Big Brother.
Big Brother's a harder
What?
game. Big Brother's a harder game to win than Challenge. So for me personally,
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be on the challenge the most. That's my favorite show to be a participant on. But there's one reason for that, and it's because you can't get voted out. You have to go in elimination, and if you lose, you lose. If you win, you stay. And Big Brother Survivor,
Dude, Big Brother is not harder than the challenge. What are
uh,
you talking about?
unless you're a physical specimen, every show is harder than the challenge.
Why did it take then fine? Why did it take Devin 6 years or 6 challenges to win?
He hasn't been
But
on.
it took him one time to win the Big Brother.
He wasn't on Big Brother, dude.
Yeah, he was.
He wasn't.
Oh, he's already the one, aren't you?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Check
All
your
right. So
facts.
all right, fine. Fact checking on this.
Josh, well, okay, you're the one thing you could say is that Josh and Casey both have won Big Brother, but they haven't. Well, I think Casey might have won the challenge actually, but Josh has not won the challenge. Fessy
right,
lost Fessy lost Big Brother really bad.
right. You
And
couldn't even do that,
he hasn't won the
and it's so
challenge,
much harder.
but he's done better on the challenge than Big Brother.
So yeah. Big Brother's definitely harder. Those challenges are real tough.
That's the problem. God, now we're getting off tangent, but basically, Big Brother is harder to win than the challenge.
No, it's not. No,
Yes,
it is not.
yes, it is.
That's why like 40-year-old women just no, it's not.
Yes, it is. Big Brother is harder to win because the 40-year-old women can vote you off because you can't win back-to-back challenges. You you can win. You don't know. I don't think you know enough about Big Brother. Basically, you need you need social gameplay to win the challenge. If you're a physical specimen, like I said, you can win. So even if everybody hates your guts in the challenge, you can win because you can just win eliminations. You can make it to the final, and if you're in the final, you win by being the most physical. In Big Brother, even if you're physical, you can't participate in every competition, so you can get taken out by votes, which means that if someone's strategic and they realize that you're a threat, they can vote you out and you have nothing to say about it.
Sounds very identical to the challenge, but okay. But I do not see how that's harder. But I mean, are you trying to implicate that the challenge doesn't have any social aspect? Like I don't get it. Or are you more trying to self portray where you would struggle in the game, so it would be harder on you.
Yes and yes.
Gotcha. All right, then that makes sense. All right, so this whole situation would seem normally like it means nothing in previous episodes, but of course, TJ comes out of nowhere and presents the group with, all right, guys and girls are both going to be eliminated this episode, which I can assume is going to be the case moving forward. And I personally like, I don't know, but this is what I was talking about when it came to Wes not being able to save Amanda, because it actually did mean something. Basically, what ends up happening is everybody's now at play. So Dez is in trouble, and they're choosing who she's going to be going against. She flat out says, "I want Amanda." Every single person, despite Wes's best efforts, chose to put Amanda in, giving her the best odds to get picked, which she did. I don't know about you. What?
I was just gonna say I was trying to figure out where, because the team colors are confusing me and stuff, and like people are aligning with their non-alliances and their teams. So you have the girls in the Secret Garden, which is an alliance that started last episode. Most of them are on red, but basically, like the green girls are trying to protect Desi and not Amanda, which are both green girls, and that's when they ended up throwing in Amanda, right? Yes. So they had to throw in a girl. So the green girls voted in Amanda instead of trying to vote in a blue girl. Is kind of what happened there.
Yeah, but that, I mean, like, do you blame them? Like, the chick is the most annoying person to deal with. She constantly is complaining about stuff, and she's not like athletically up to par as any of them.
Yeah.
So I think
Beefy.
personally, it was the right move.
Yeah, I mean, plus you hear a lot of stuff from Alyssa Lopez this season, so I feel like she might be someone to watch. She's a skinny girl. She might be able to run or do something, but she has a lot of strategic input, which she comes from Big Brother. And then she's aligned with like Tiffany, who created the cookout from Big Brother. And Tiffany's a very smart woman as well. So I definitely like this alliance where it's like a Big Brother cross hybrid, maybe some or what am I saying? Survivor. No, Big Brother shit. I can't keep my shit together,
You
man.
can tell. You can
This
tell.
fucking CBS chaos right here.
You can tell that they had prior discussions
Oh,
about just
well, that's the thing.
yeah.
They're like Alyssa, everyone I just said, they're on the CBS. They're on the CBS Alliance train, which we see that in the trailer for next episode too. So we have limited time here, but basically the
I mean,
vote.
what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on the elimination itself? I brought me back to kind of the days of where Derek's fighting
Dude.
whatever that big dude's name was, Joss, for the poll. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
But
exactly.
the
That's what I was thinking. So the elimination evil eye, I think when they were teasing us with this briefly, it was like a big circle thingy majigger hanging in the air. So I thought there was going to be like an air component of them swinging around and knocking each other out, which, it could be a variation of, you know, but basically what this was pole wrestle or or not hall brawl, but pato brawl. So pole wrestle, pato brawl, those are competitions they've done before, where basically you're grabbing onto some sort of there was like a ring toss one too. You're grabbing onto some sort of object and trying to mono shove a dude off. Dude, I love these. These are like my
no, you're trying to grab it and get it out first in this one.
yeah. I mean, for me,
So,
I
which is great.
if I'd probably try to like big dog somebody, get them like get my body weight, spin. But if worst case scenario, I'll probably like throw up a fucking triangle on them and and try to rip it out of their hands.
I mean, the reason we're having such a tough time describing this, excuse me, the reason we are having such a tough time describing this is 100% because it was one sided on both accounts, male and female on this one. They're really, I mean, like, yeah, they put up a fight, both of them, but everybody knew who was winning going into each of those matches, and it went accordingly. So, end of the day, it was a good episode. I would definitely watch the next one, especially now that I think it's going to shake things up where people have to think about like, oh, it's not just a dude anymore. It's not just a chick anymore. There is no strategic. It's going to be both. So let's start working accordingly. And that's also going to break out the alliances into the male female aspect where it's like the couple side when yeah everybody's like friendly and then you have your alliance and then every single person's like yeah but I really like blah 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 and I really well I'm not giving up on blah. That's where these little alliances are. You're going to start seeing this a lot more and the alliances are going to break in or break through and come together and then there's going to be a lot of backstabbing. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
It's gonna be fun. I think the final piece that would happen is the two winners. Obviously, we had Chris from the blue team and we had Desi from the green team. They basically had the choice to defect or not defect. So Chris, he decides to stay blue strong, and Desi defects. Man, she also goes blue strong and replaces Dylan Mulvaney on the green team. So, what do you think about the green team? Because they're basically saying Dylan. I mean, not Dylan. Alyssa Snyder, my love, said that they're going to be. They might be screwed now on green. Do you think green is about to get decimated? They're the smallest team at this point in time. Do you think they get picked off? Because I think West is in trouble.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously, they're probably going to be in more trouble to be thrown in more, but then it comes down to individuals. So I don't really know half of them other than Wes. As soon as they throw Wes in, Wes is going to beat Corey. He's going to beat. He's going to likely beat.
I want to see
like a lot of the CBS guys. I would say I would, and that's just a guess. That's a guess. I don't know, but so
Monty.
that's going to change the game when Corey goes.
Monty and Tyler are both on green team. I would
I
love
don't want to.
I would love to see both of them in elimination because they're both. I mean, Monty, he's a lot bigger guy than I thought he was, so I'd like to see him against someone like a Fessy because they seem to be similar in size. I mean, honestly, a lot of these guys, I've been taking screenshots. A lot of these guys seem to be pretty big. Like Fessy was always the big dude, but Sebastian, Chris, and Monty all look like they're like 6'3" at least. So
Yeah,
I'm,
I'm taking screenshots.
do I?
Falling asleep looking at them. I'm taking screenshots of these dudes too, and just thinking about how big and muscular and who they could take out. Yeah, that's the straightest thing I do in my life.
I take screenshots of the whole team so I can see the girls
Oh
too.
yeah, right.
So Desi was
Notice those are never
way bigger
inserted
than
into
Amanda. The biggest
yeah.
girl on the show is Michaela. So there you go. There's a fun fact. Michaela is the biggest girl on the show. She's like Anaya, but better.
So moving forward, I guess our we're gonna have to see that we're left in a cliffhanger. We don't know what we think is gonna happen in the future, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna come down to what Wes does, what they do with Wes. If Wes is eliminated, then who knows? People are gonna want to start joining that team. If Wes is nominated, he's going to switch over, and everything's going to be a whole different ballgame.
Exactly. If Wes gets nominated and wins, he's switching for sure. And then Green's gone. At that point, they're gonna have to be two teams. They're gonna be blue versus red.
Mm-hmm.
Green just won't exist anymore. What if it's like?
Which is this is almost kind of the thing that I could totally see happening, where Wes is like, all right, let me sabotage this. Everybody vote me in. Let me go. You tell me I'm going after X, Y, or Z, and he puts himself into a position to start running things. And it's more
First Dusty, dude.
Does Wes
Dusty?
Does Wes go after a rookie, or does he assert dominance on the rookie by taking out a vet himself, which somebody like Josh, that he knows he can beat because Josh can't throw a ball through a paper like circle and break the paper, or does he go after a big rookie? I'm telling you, this all comes down. It comes down to Wes.
You don't go after big rookies. I mean, that's the strategy of this game.
That's the dumbest thing.
You don't go after.
That's the dumbest thing.
The only threats you go after are the ones that can beat you in a final. A final is mostly cardio, endurance based puzzles, things like that, and experience. So, I mean, I'm not afraid.
Yeah, but no, there's a whole nother mental aspect of it now because he need Johnny's beaten somebody, is beating a big vet, and he's now gotten respect. Wes does it, and then him and Johnny join up. Dude, they're going to be a force.
You don't need to. Wes doesn't need to beat a vet though. I think Wes is going to murder Johnny's fan favorite, whatever Dusty is. Wes is going to murder Dusty,
What the fuck
and
are you
then
talking
take.
about?
I just think so. Dusty's like a bananas fanboy, fangirl, whatever. He's like a. Someone said he was a cross country runner or something. Runs marathons. It might have been Wes, honestly. Um, I think he's going to take out a Dusty in elimination, then switch teams either with bananas or against bananas. It depends if
Well,
Green.
yeah, there's really no other option, but yeah.
If Green's still alive, Wes might switch to red. But if Green's dead, Wes might switch to blue and then just decimate red from blue until blue is the only remaining team.
That
Anyways,
wouldn't happen.
it's
But
all speculation, and I mean we could probably go on for hours about all this bullshit, but um
yeah,
thank you everyone for watching, for joining us, talking about the challenge, and catch us on Friday when we post the next one, episode 5.